I'm so excited to bring you yet another Empowered Whole Being Press author, visionary author for sure. Francesca Thoman is another one of our Empowered Whole Being authors and has such an amazing array of books to support self-realization and empowered living, all the way from children's books to Nikola Tesla, quite an expanse. All of them, though, focusing on inner realization. So, Francesca, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing about your creative written works.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I'd like to start with just talking about the multitude of beautiful titles that you've published so far. Let's start with the Silver Spun Stories, which is the smaller book to your on the screen here. Don't know which side is which on you compared to what I'm looking at. I think it's your right. Anyway, left on the screen. So um, Silver Spun Stories is for 7 to 12-year-olds, and it's enchanted tales of empowerment and encouragement and helping a young person begin to see themselves as potentially anything's possible kind of approach. And as you can see from the cover, there's a lot of fantasy and magical stories and, as it says, enchanted tales. And then there's also volume 1. Would you mind holding that up for everyone to see? Well, volume 1 obviously came out first, and it also has 4 enchanted tales, same focus, which is the gift that Francesca brings is her ability to create that feeling of inspiration and self-empowerment. So important for young people, I believe. And then let's go even another selection of children's books. And the first one, this is called the Anti-Duck Story Rhymes, a beautiful collection and focus. So the first one you're holding up here, Francesca's holding up, is
Hatchlings.
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 And Hatchlings is for the pre-reader. And would you show us one of the illustrations in there? They're beautifully illustrated.
Yes.
This is called it's a poem, and it's about counting from 1 to 10 and then from 10 to 1. Great bedtime story.
Counting up,
Lovely, lovely.
counting down.
Yes. And then the next anti-duck story rhyme selection is called Ducklings. And Ducklings is for the early reader. They're beginning to read on their own, and it's a picture book, but not as many pictures as the pre-reader. And so here's Ducklings. And then again, would you show us one of the beautiful illustrations? And this book was illustrated exclusively by Francesca herself. Lovely, lovely stories of accountability, exploration of your inner self, feeling empowered and feeling valued. Lovely books. And
Valuing
now,
others, valuing yourself.
exactly, exactly. Now let's take a look at the Tesla series. So on the screen, you'll see Nikola Tesla. This is volume 4, New Physics. And the title says it all. It's got a lot of breakthrough information. And I want to stress here that Francesca is channeling Nikola Tesla. So all this information is new. We're not talking about what's already been published. This is new information and fascinating, very insightful. And so that's volume 4. Now let's go to volume 1. The title of that is
New definitions and meditations.
There's some really good meditations in this volume 1. Highly recommend it.
And
And now,
a number of meditations I use myself still.
yes, I highly recommend it. And then now volume 2, which is, by the way, award winning. It won the Silver Award in the cover award system. And
Healing and manifestation magic.
now everybody can use a little bit of manifestation magic, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So that's number 2. And now number 3,
Multidimensional field effects, and human experience.
very profound. A lot of great information in this one as well. So that's the Nikola Tesla series, which is, again, all new channeled information. And now the last thing I would love for you to hold up for us is a little bit of a sidebar for Nikola Tesla. It's called Nikola Tesla Presents. And would you read the title?
Nikola Tesla presents Afterlife Lessons from Famous Personalities.
And this was fascinating how this came to be. Nikola Tesla communicated to Francesca that he actually would like to share some of the wisdom and conversations he was having with individuals who were on the other side, who had passed. And so he channeled that information like a go-between between um, Nikola Tesla, the individual, and Francesca. Before we go any further, I would like to read a little bit about you because I realize I actually haven't done that yet. So as far as the children's stories, your mother invented her own tales to tell you for bedtime. And so with your children's stories, you are carrying on this tradition of creating new stories centered around self-realization, inspiration, self-empowerment, self-value
Mm-hmm.
for children, which is beautiful. And then, of course, for the Nikola Tesla books, you are a conscious, clairaudient channel, and you have been since 1990. And you began channeling Nikola Tesla in those early days and published in New Age magazines and newsletters, and also channeled at various seminars. So you have a very broad um, base of experience with working directly with Tesla in this manner. So I think that's amazing and so appreciated.
I'll tell you from my side that part of the reason um, why he picked me, I think, is because I wouldn't argue with him.
That's funny. Ah, I love it.
But he appreciated actually my creativity and my opening to the sense of the possible, because that's what he wants to do with these books.
Perfect. In fact, that leads me to my first question is what inspired you to write this array of written works?
The children's stories I use to evoke magic, to evoke personal magic, to evoke a sense and sight of the magic in the world. And with Nikola Tesla, I open up with him, he wants to open up magic within all of us so that we have practical information on how to perceive magic itself. That's where volume 2 comes in, but also to perceive our own multidimensional reality, our own multidimensional um, presence and existence, so that we use it to, broaden our scope, um, create a deeper and more present experiences with reality.
Mm. And when you speak of magic, you're talking about connecting to that expanded quantum self. I mean, not
Yes,
from a physical world, but from the expanded consciousness of what we all are.
magic in this case is also expressed through the physical. That's why
Hmm.
it's the magic of manifestation.
Hmm.
So
I'm
there,
just wanting to clarify for anybody
mhm,
viewing that when you
right.
speak of magic, you're talking about the expanded connection,
Mm-hmm.
like from my background focusing on quantum physics, we know that that is the quantum field, the quantum self, the energy is everything, the energy. So as opposed to just the physical, and then bringing that into the physical world, because
Yes.
there's no separation in
Yes.
reality. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is wonderful, because I think that for even a person just beginning to look at this, they'll find something of help and support in your Tesla books for sure.
Yes. Yes. He's presenting a whole number of astonishing and delightful new concepts. Also, in volume three, uh, before we wrote Nikola Tesla Presents, we have Jung stepping in and
Mm,
telling Tesla a few things about Lemurian children, amongst other things.
I remember that. Yeah, it was fascinating. And then I have one more question. What do you hope those who read your books, be it children's or Tesla's work, channeled it, work with through you, what do you hope will be their takeaway? How do you envision it, be them becoming familiar with your work? How do you envision it uplifting their life?
For the children's books, I want people to finish the story with a smile and an open heart. For Nikola Tesla's books, I want to do two things: is to present them with questions that they hadn't
Mm,
known
mm.
existed, and present them with answers that help them to question and open up their own human experience.
That's beautiful. I love that intention. That is so amazing. Francesca, thank you so much for taking a few moments of your time to share your wisdom and your creative talent with those who are interested in searching a little more deeply into who they really are and want their children to have support in that same path. So I again encourage everyone, you can find these books anywhere. Just you can go to the Empowered Whole Being Press website and see where the book is for sale, and or it's available from Amazon or any Barnes and Noble, where anywhere really, internationally. So thank you so much for your time, Francesca, today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It is an honor and a privilege and a joy.